What is up, Culture Drop? I'm Galen. Today's topic is something I think is really important, which is how do you deal with tough feedback? You suck! Just kidding. That would be harsh. Hopefully that's not that's not how you talk to people. This is what I want to say about this. When it comes to receiving tough feedback, whether that is from a leader, a coworker, a friend, like anybody in your life, but like, specifically around work, is like, how do you deal with that? And I think a really important mindset to have is sort of like there's two paths of this. Either somebody gives me bad feedback or rough feedback or something that's really hard for me to hear. I either receive that as a personal attack or a jail sentence of like, right, you're bad at this thing and now I've been exposed, right? And there's a lot of sort of like shame or embarrassment or pushback or defensiveness about like, no, that's not true, or, oh no, I'm bad at this thing. That is a really destructive place in your mind to see feedback as this like criticism or a jail sentence or like you've been exposed as being terrible at something. The other side of receiving negative feedback, the other mindset that I think is like so important to adopt, this has to do with growth mindset, is that when I receive a piece of feedback that's hard to hear about my performance, behavior, anything I'm doing, is to see that as something I can improve. I see it as an opportunity. It's not a personal attack. This person, just because they don't think I'm a good listener or my performance is lacking or whatever, it doesn't mean that that's permanent. It's something I can improve. I can improve like either my ability in that area. I can improve my relationship with this person, right? By them giving me that feedback. And I feel strongly that feedback is a gift from other people. And I think that like feedback that's really hard to hear is a godsend, right? It's like, first of all, that person is courageous enough or honest enough to share that with you. And even if that person is sharing it without tact or they're doing it in a way that like is hurtful, right? But not necessarily on purpose, it's just like, it feels hurtful. For you to view it as like, this is something I can improve. I can get better at that thing. And the way to respond to it, right, directly is not to defend or deflect or try to prove that person wrong. And I just had a conversation with a team about this the other day, and I think it's really important is that when we hear feedback that we don't like, a lot of time we put our energy into changing that person's opinion, right? We respond in a way that sort of like puts us in a better light, or we try to like negate that or defend against it or change that person's opinion. And instead, if we took that energy and just focused on trying to change that person's experience with us instead of their opinion, right? Now it's like, it's on me. What can I do to make that better? So, and I have a blog and a video about this, like, tell me more about that is the greatest way to respond when someone's like, hey, here's some harsh feedback. Immediately be in a space of curiosity. Like, tell me more about that. Where are you coming from? What does that feel like? What does that look like? I want to understand so that I can make changes. I can make differences. Again, when somebody else is giving you feedback, it's not, whether it's true or not cosmically, is not as relevant as the reality that like, that's this person's experience with you, that you are not a good listener, that you shoot down their ideas, whatever the feedback is. And also this comes to as sort of a sub piece of this is like, what do you do as an employee if you're put on a PIP, right? Like an improvement plan, or like, hey, if this doesn't turn around, your job is at stake. And I think there's only one really productive, proactive way to respond to that is to like lean into it, right? To dive in, to ask for help, for clarity, to be like, hey, tell me exactly what it needs to look like to improve, and be in that space where it's like, I want to get better. I want to do this thing, communicate, lean into that. It's important and a really, really masterful kind of mindset to not see those things as an attack, as a criticism, but like an area of opportunity to improve, right? And luckily, it's a chance for you to sort of highlight some blind spots. You might not be aware of the impact that you're having on somebody else, right? Or how you're coming across to somebody else from the outside. So see it as a gift, lean into it, be proactive. You don't have to have an opinion about it. Just focus on like, what is the solution? How can we improve this? How can we make this better? I don't know. You know, it'd be really great is if I had a donut. I don't have a donut though. Like that, you know what I mean? Thanks for watching and tuning in. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have our weekly email list, The Culture Drop. You can subscribe to that and get these emails right in your inbox. Follow our social media channels. Put out a lot of free content around being more awesome and building great teams.